One of the world's most wanted terrorists is dead.
Thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more.
We're learning details about the operation in Syria carried out by U.S. Special Forces. Plus, school called off in Douglas County because of teachers calling out sick, their protest over recent action by the school board. And celebrating African American heritage, a new project is highlighting Black history in Colorado.
This is a really great opportunity for us to investigate these stories, to kind of breathe new life into some of them.
Things are much quieter across the Front Range today than they were 24 hours ago, but while the snow has moved out and the sun is out and shining, there's a lot of wind, and you can see our CDOT camera shaking there in Broomfield. We're seeing some of our coldest temperatures of the season today. Thanks so much for joining us for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jason Grenauer. This is a look at the current wind chills across the Front Range. Wind chills still below zero out there, and that's why we're still under a weather action day. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson joins us now. And Stacey, the big question everybody has, when are things going to warm up out there?
Well, it looks like today things will still remain chilly here for our area, of course, because we were below zero overnight. It's 11 right now downtown, 7 at DIA, single digits and teens all throughout the metro, and single digits and teens up into the foothills as well. But you factor in the wind, feels like 2 below at DIA, 8 below for Aurora, and 24 below for Fort Morgan. The same for Berthoud Pass at 30 below. So some significant wind chill factor here across the state. Pretty much the same thing across eastern Colorado. Everywhere feels like it's below zero. So you'll need to bundle up for the rest of the day. For the most part, it looks like our wind chill factor will remain around zero for the rest of the day, even though we'll warm it up into the 20s with this sunshine here across the state. Our hourly planner keeping those temperatures in the teens for the next few hours. Then we'll be into the low 20s for those afternoon highs. Highs today in the teens farther to our north. We'll have 20s here for the metro area, single digits and teens off to the west. Also sunny, cold conditions today, 22 degrees. But we do see a warm up coming right around the corner. I'll have details on that, plus our next cool down in a few minutes.
I just can't wait till it gets to 22. Thank you, Stacey. And you can get your forecast anytime you want by downloading our free Denver 7 Plus app. We have interactive radar, a 10-day forecast, and a 24/7 weather live stream. You can find it on your Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android device. The leader of ISIS is dead after U.S. military forces successfully completed a counterterrorism operation in Syria. Officials say the terrorist blew himself up as forces drew near. As MWin reports, the raid took months of planning.
A significant counterterrorism mission in northwest Syria. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris observing from the Situation Room. The target, ISIS leader Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurayshi.
Thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more.
The president ordered the mission near the Turkey-Syria border, an area known to be home to Islamic extremist groups including Al-Qaeda and ISIS. The White House confirming al-Qurayshi exploded a bomb at the beginning of the raid that killed himself and members of his own family. This witness says, "It was windy in the evening. We went out and saw planes above us. 10 minutes later, we heard screams. Surrender. The house is surrounded." Officials say President Biden directed the Department of Defense to take every precaution to limit civilian deaths. They add that the mission was complicated because al-Qurayshi was running a global terror unit out of the location, with his family living on the upper floor.
Knowing that this terrorist had chosen to surround himself with families, including children, we made a choice to pursue a special forces raid at a much greater risk than to our own people, rather than targeting him with an airstrike.
There were no U.S. casualties, and officials say the mission ran like clockwork, despite the mechanical failure of a helicopter that was destroyed by U.S. forces a short distance from the site. This mission is considered the biggest U.S. raid in Syria since the 2019 operation that killed ISIS leader al-Baghdadi. MWin, ABC News, Washington.
A new Senate report is expected to blame poor planning for the troubled evacuation of Afghanistan last summer. The report says there was a lack of coordination and communication in the Biden administration and that actions should have been taken months in advance. It also blames the White House for failing to establish a clear system for evacuees. The White House has not responded to that report. President Joe Biden is also heading to New York today to address gun violence. He's laying out what the White House is calling a comprehensive strategy to combat gun crime. Now, the strategy includes money that cities and states can use to put more officers on the streets and money to invest in community violence prevention and intervention programs, along with stepping up federal law enforcement efforts against illegal gun traffickers. Now, more than 2/3 of the country's 40 most populous cities saw more homicides last year than in 2020, and most of them were because of gun violence. Well, happening right now, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock is announcing plans to reduce crime and improve public safety. He's speaking with other city officials, including Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin and Sheriff Elias Diggins. The mayor wants 40% of this year's budget for public safety, including money to hire more first responders, police officers, and expand youth violence prevention programs. We'll have much more on this story coming up on Denver 7 News at 6. Well, developing news this morning, SWAT teams are trying to negotiate with a man at a hotel in Aurora. Now, police got a call overnight that there was a man with a gun at a hotel off of East Harvard near I-225 in Iliff. Police say one woman came out of the room unharmed. Nearby rooms have been evacuated, and police are asking people to avoid that area. Douglas County schools canceled classes today because hundreds of teachers called out sick today. Now, that sick out is in support of the superintendent. As Denver 7's Colette Bordelon reports, they're protesting recent actions from some of the school board.
The superintendent is Corey Wise. He's been with the district for more than 2 decades, only in that superintendent role for a little less than a year. 3 school board members are saying other members want to force him to resign. We've been told by parents that teachers out here love him because he was once one of them. Our partners at the Denver Post say the president of the Douglas County Federation estimated 900 people requested substitutes for today. While we don't have an exact number of how many teachers plan on protesting, all preschool, elementary, middle, and high school classes are canceled across the district. Things like sports will still be happening unless parents have been told otherwise. The school board president says he does not plan on removing the superintendent or forcing his resignation behind closed doors. But the allegations come as the school board is also trying to change the district's mask and equity policy.
I wondered if they were aware of just how devastating the timing of this would be for our system, a system that's already under duress and struggling to maintain stability just because of the hardship we've had for the past couple of years.
As part of the protest, there is a rally planned today at 1 outside of the district's administration building. As of Wednesday afternoon, Superintendent Wise had not resigned. In Castle Rock, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Jefferson County health officials will meet tonight to discuss the county's health order. Other counties in the metro are already making changes to their mask orders. Denver and Broomfield will no longer have a mask mandate starting tomorrow. Mask orders in Adams and Arapahoe counties will expire Saturday. Larimer County's mask order will end next Saturday. Remember, businesses and schools may have their own mask requirements outside of those county orders. Today's cold weather means some COVID-19 testing sites are opening late or closed today. This affects multiple state-managed sites. More than a dozen of them will open at noon. You can find a list of impacted sites on covid19colorado.gov. Well, you might be getting those free at-home COVID tests from the federal government, but you shouldn't let them sit in your mailbox for too long. It's because there are concerns the cold weather may impact those results. The tests are supposed to be stored between 36 and 86 degrees. Health officials say the tests will be fine if they're sitting in a frigid mailbox for a few hours, but not for days.
Cold weather absolutely can have an impact on testing. It leaves a lot of us asking the question, what should we do with these tests? Particularly if they sit on my porch or in my mailbox for a period of time.
Now, if you're worried about constantly checking your mailbox for that package, check your email inbox first. Tracking numbers have been sent to email addresses on orders, letting people know when they should arrive. The White House says it's getting ready for kids younger than 5 to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer is waiting for emergency use authorization from the FDA for its vaccine. The White House says once the shot gets the okay, the administration will hit the ground running.
We're doing everything we can to prepare now. We're taking all of the best practices and applying all the lessons learned over the last 12 months to ensure getting kids under 5 the protection of vaccine is easy and convenient.
The White House says once the FDA authorizes the vaccine, it will take a few days before younger children can get the shot. The CDC must also sign off on the vaccine before that can happen. Well, there's promising news for Colorado's economy. It grew steadily throughout 2021. The state says 152,000 jobs were added from December 2020 into December of last year. It's nearly a 6% increase. The state says new business filings increased throughout the year as well. Inflation also increased 3.5% in the metro. That is below the national increase of 4.2%. Governor Jared Polis is giving an update on his economic plans for Colorado later on today. There's also going to be a roundtable with other Colorado business leaders where he'll talk about the future of Colorado's economy. The event starts at 1 at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Still ahead, your utility bill could get more expensive. Xcel wants to raise prices on electricity and natural gas. And a museum curator is on a mission to preserve and share Black history in Colorado. The plan he has to highlight the African American experience in the West.